Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. No complaints here in Wichita, no moisture, and the hard red winter wheat crop is stressed. The beginning stress is too warm by about 10 degrees, but if you're a Homo sapien and like warming weather over cold weather, it was a great weekend here. We're on the eastern edge of that big buildup of heat. If you look at the jet stream that's over the west coast, really been over the west coast all winter and making for seasonably warm temperatures, but I don't think anybody around here is complaining. News-wise, over the weekend, several ministers and people in China came out and talked about the Silk Road project, how it was going to increase growth, add $2.5 trillion to world growth as it gets built, pipelines, ports, railroads, airports, electrical grids, etc. And it's supposed to go all the way, from China across the continent and end up in Europe when it's all said and done. And there were hints that the Chinese central bank would be easing soon. And every stock market around the globe is up big time off of that. The Asian market's up collectively 4.7%. Europe up 3.9%. Our S&P was up 11 points off this news. Now, the Silk Road is a dream. It's a master plan. China, if they'll come in there and finance railroads and highways and the rest of this for their poor neighbors, people will say yes to it. But it takes a lot. It will take a long time to do this, 25 to 50 years probably. And then they have to go across war-torn areas, which probably means that Ukraine is off the list and other countries that are fighting. So, but again, a headline mentality. The trading, the news algos get going to the long side, and as long as the market ticks up, that news algo is going to stick with it. High-frequency trading is very, very easy to understand. As long as the market is up-ticking, they'll trade from the long side. As long as it's down-ticking, they'll trade from the short side. And that's the way that it works. So anyway, the news out of China is the major news over the weekend, and all markets are playing that. Today, we've got personal income up 0.3. Personal spending, I've seen anywhere from -0.2 to +0.3. So +0.2 from Econoday. Core PCE +0.1, which is pretty much where it has been for as long as I can remember. Pending home sales +0.3, and Dallas Fed -9. So our economy supposedly is 70% driven by the retail account, consumer spending. Number one priority, personal spending. Probably the second focus for the market will be pending home sales, and then I think Dallas will let us know how things are going in the oil patch. So that's where the news is today. I think the direction of the E-mini is probably a bigger factor than all of this put together, but this personal spending will be the number one factor today. Looking at the screen right here, there's your split. So right here you can see this 28.20 to 24 area, pretty good resistance, followed by 27 all the way up to 29. So that's where resistance lies. And 21, 25 will be sell 1. 27, 31, sell 2. On the buy side, we're dealing with a B, and we're dealing with a new move lower, but we are getting some buying off this. So if the E-mini just explodes and rallies, we'll probably be lower. If the E-mini finds sellers in that 2070, 2075 area, will probably hold in a trading range. We're at 18.5. The overnight session low is 14. Stops below 16. So I see pretty good support at 12 to 16 initially. So this would be buy one. And the second area would be this 5 to 9 area where we would pick up this support area from last Thursday and Friday. Hope everybody's basketball teams won this weekend. Pretty good weekend for basketball if you're into it. I think that Kentucky Notre Dame game probably caught most everybody's attention. I caught the last 15 minutes of that. We went out to eat and came back, and it was a nice way to finish up the evening. About as close as you can get, and I think Notre Dame, even though they lost, played Kentucky about as well as anybody's played them. Kentucky is, I mean, they got 3 7-foot players and shooters on the floor, and they've had several games they could have lost, but that was because they didn't show up, weren't paying attention. It wasn't because of the skill set. And you have to take your hat off to Calipari on how he can meld really basketball high school superstars and kids about ready to go into the NBA and get a cohesive unit out of people that really haven't played much together very much. Now, what he's done for the game, you know, one and done. Yeah, come here. You don't have to study. You know, if you're not drafted by the NBA or not draft worthy by the second season, you're going to flunk out of school and be gone. They don't have a program like North Carolina yet, but they're probably working on it. Here's the bond, and you can see right here that 12 is probably a pretty clean break, so this 8 to 12 area, so 7 to 11 will be sell 1, and then 15 to 19, sell 2. On the buy side, we've got volume down at 26 and then overnight at 30, so we'll make 25, 29, buy 1. Then this last rotate down here, you can see stopped at 19, so 21, 17. I kind of see a trading range today unless the E-mini just explodes and breaks out to the upside, and it can, but I don't see which would take what it would, how there's any news or anything out there that would change kind of the trading range mode that we're stuck in now in the E-mini. You know, one of the things that people forget, just because you come out with a plan to do something, it takes time to put a plan in place. And the central banks around the globe have, the one thing they can all point to is higher stock prices. And that's the one bright spot out of this, while growth is contracting around the globe. And they're going to do anything they can to keep the stock market as high as they can keep it. Okay, well, June contract in gold. If you're in April, you need to roll. We have multiple distributions lower. There's 1, 2, and we may have the third distribution lower starting in V period right here. So where is resistance structurally? You can see right there, the 86, 87, high is 88, so 86, 88, pretty aggressive, sell 1. And then this distribution started down at 94. Have a single print at, looks like 92, so we'll make 92, 94, sell 2. It is a new contract. We're at 83, so 80 to 75 is probably pretty reasonable support. It has been. So we'll make 80 plus or minus 1, buy 1. And buy 2 will be 75 plus or minus 1. More articles out over the weekend on how long can the central banks keep the markets up. Have they given up? Have they thrown in the towel? I mean, it's just, you know, I got a column and I've got to write something. Big article out that from Societe Generale on the likelihood of peaceful settlement, the Ukraine and Russia. They didn't put it exactly at 0, but they said probably not. Unfortunately, the way things are finally resolved is through violence or war and those type of issues. And I don't see any way for the Ukraine deal to sort itself out other than, and I don't even really think Russia wants to really totally take them on because of the financial liabilities. They just want to make sure that they're not a player with NATO, which I think they've probably pretty well done. Okay, on the euro, 15 to 25 by 1, the buck, plus or minus 5. We've seen the euro trade down to the 85.90 area before it snaps back. Last rotate up stopped at 66, then above that at 81, so we're at 48. So 50 to 60 is going to be sell 1, and then our 80 to the buck will be sell 2. I don't think we're supposed to have a Greek announcement today. I haven't seen any speculation as to what that might be or what time it's going to come out, if it's going to come out. I know the European Central Bank and the EU are masters at kicking the can down the road. So, oh, we almost have a deal, but it'll take another 5 or 6 days to work things out, that type of situation. Okay, crude's lower. Supposedly over the weekend, 40,000 troops have been assembled to go in, and all the stuff's being moved up to the border to take over Yemen, Sana'a, the capital, and reestablish a rightful government. And I don't know how to pronounce it, Houthis or Houthis, the Shia segment that came in and took over. But, you know, Yemen has been on the brink of falling for several years. This time when they fell, people that can grab it got $500 million worth of equipment. They got all of our secrets. They got a drone base that has been used to attack the rebels in Yemen, plus all the intelligence that's been gathered. You talk about a debacle, and why that stuff wasn't removed or the rest of it. You had 100 military personnel that were finally pulled out last week. I mean, you just cannot describe the negative intelligence that's been applied in this situation. And there are people that know how to do things right, but they obviously weren't talked to. So, got a fairly square distribution right now, a little bit of volume in this area up here, 48.25, 48.50. Would square this out and make it a D pattern. Right now it's leaning B. Got a pretty clean break up here at 75, 78, so 50 to 75, sell 1. 49, 49.25, sell 2. Buy side, I think we can give it a little bit of room, so we'll make 47.25, 47.50. Let them get stops below the overnight session low, but may have to pay up. I mean, we're at 48.33. May have to move that up to 75 to the buck, but we'll see. We're going to try to buy on the cheap to get started, and then 46.75, 47 for buy 2. And one bad headline out of the Middle East or something could explode this market to the upside. So don't be short without a protective stop, and you most certainly will not like your fill. but you'll be out, and you cannot not put a stop out there because you won't like the fill. Saw an interesting article out there out of Australia. Australia is going to start taxing savings accounts. Now, governments are desperate for money. If you've had a savings account, you haven't been able to earn much on it since 2009. Everybody's rolling out of specific issues and into mutual funds to get the benefit of higher coupons from days earlier, but soon that'll be over too. And high yield instruments. People are stretching, trying to get yield. I mean, cash flow, income is what most of the world needs, not growth. And that's where we are right now. Okay, take a look at volume. These volume nodes right here. And you can see we have a new move up starts in C period. So the correct split for this would be a C split. Why? Because C broke resistance, took out the value area high. And you can see how volume at 68 pulled the market to it and stopped it. So we're back down to 62. Like I said, all this news out on China, it's great. They're fabulous plans. Let's see if we can do it. But it's a long time coming. So cell 1 is going to be 64, 65. Cell 2 is going to be 69, 71. And we have all these single prints. So this 69, 70 area is pretty good resistance. Obviously 75 right there is another point. And on the buy side, we broke out from 55, 57, so buy 1, 55, 57, and then 50, 52. And the 50, 52 buy is pretty safe. I mean, it's going to create opposite activity because people will cover their shorts when they get into that. News, personal income up 0.3. Personal spending up 2. And I can't write this morning, can I? Focus, personal spending, 70% of our economy. Core PCE, plus 0.1. That's the default number. It's been there forever. And personal pending home sales plus 0.3. And Dallas Fed minus 9. So there's your focus, personal spending. John, I'll take that article up in a little bit. Hopefully it's from credible sources. Sometimes we get articles out there on what's really going that some guy has to say something to get you to read his blog or the rest of it. Not that credible sources, which are quite often a source of disinformation, are that much better. But like Pravda back in the old days, if it's from a credible source and you know what their leaning or bias is, you can read between the lines. Okay, Don Manning, I have no idea why you're having problems with your software this morning. Get with Peter, get with Chris. Sorry, I can't help you on that, but I don't know. So, okay, it'll take at least 20 minutes to get everything up and running. I'm going to get busy on that right now. I'll be back with you as soon as possible.